Hey everyone, it's Theo. Today we're diving into the Omenak campaign on Ruthless difficulty. This map is a great farm spot for a few key items, most notably the Soul Dissolver for your Gun Witch or Huntress, the Goblin Wrench for your Barbarian, and some nice accessories. There are several key things we want from this map, so let's jump in and get started. Alright, we're going to go ahead and grab all of these chests and get some mana real quick. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say this is a build that is made by Sir John, with one slight variation, and I'll show you what that variation is when we are building the DSTs. So I'm going to come down here and grab these two chests, and then we're going to place an Ensnare Aura and a Strength Drain Aura right here on this flame. Right there, yep. We come down here, grab these two, and then we got one more chest to grab. Yep. Alright, grab this one, and another Aura stack right here. Ensnare, and a Strength Drain, and that is it. We'll swap over to our EV, and we are going to build a 4DU buff beam and a 2DU reflect beam. So the buff beam starts at that ledge, and this reflect beam is going to go from that wall all the way as much as you can across the ledge. So a 2DU reflect beam. Now with our Hermit, we're going to build a Nature's Pylon. I'm putting it right here, but if your other auras aren't reaching it, you can move it over. We have two Seed Bond Towers, one facing that direction and one facing the other flame. And then we put a Golem right on top. And that is all that we're doing with our Hermit. The rest of the towers are going to be Adept Towers. We'll build 3 LTs, and then we'll build 7 DSTs. So I'm going to go ahead and place my LTs. I'm going to have one DST pointed in that direction, basically at that flame. Another one in that direction, and that is the variation. And the rest of these are going to point in that direction. So that's 3, and that is 4. I have that second DST I placed that's facing kind of to the north. In John's build, it doesn't actually point in that direction. I did that because I kept on having spiders kind of get stuck and made my wave slow. Right, last DST, there we go. And so I changed the direction of one of the DSTs to point further to the north to deal with stuck spiders. I know it's probably not as ideal as we'd want it to, because the main job of this build is to kill the boss so we don't have to. And that is what this build is going to do. Even with one less DST pointed kind of where the boss is, it's still going to be perfectly fine. So everything's built. I'm going to go ahead and swap over to my Adept Upgrader. There we go. And we'll get this wave started. Now when I'm upgrading, I like to go ahead and shoot right over here at this spawn. And this is pretty much where I'll stand and upgrade. And this is pretty much all I'm going to do until everything is fully upgraded. It takes about 1 wave to 2 waves to fully upgrade everything. Once everything's upgraded, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a Summoner with a Huntress and Monk Guardian. And that's all we'll have in here until the final wave. And so I'll be back at the final wave when we start bringing in some other heroes. And I'm back. We're getting very close to the end of the wave. And so once we get to the very end of the wave, I'm going to bring in 2 more summoners. Now these summoners are going to have a Huntress and Monk Guardian, and the other summoner is going to have 2 Apprentice Guardians. So that's going to buff the speed, the range, and the damage of my towers. So I have basically 2 Huntress Guardians, 2 Monk Guardians, and 2 Apprentice Guardians. So all of my towers are being boosted because I have 10 Adept Towers and 3 Hermit Towers. So one of them isn't getting buffed per se, but at the end of the day, all of my Adept Towers are buffed by range, speed, and damage. And so that's it. We're going to hide behind this Reflect Beam, and when the boss shows up, we're just going to wait for the towers to kill the boss. It won't take very long. We'll go into like first person mode so we can see all of the action and just see what happens. All right, it is boss time. I move my tower booster just off of the way, just to get him out of the way. There's no other reason. Come on, little goblin. It's time. All right, I am tower boosting. Now I'm going to go into first person so you can see all of the sweet, sweet action. You can see my Reflect Beam is getting hit pretty big by our flying mech. And he will fly in that direction, and that's perfectly fine. But he'll also kind of just fly back. And all of my guardians are getting in the way of this boss destruction. But that's okay. You get the point, right? You get the picture. And that is it. That boss is toast. Great build, Sir John. I really appreciate it. So let's see if we got some of those sweet, sweet soul dissolvers. Now that they've been buffed, they're actually worth farming. And maybe we get some goblin wrenches for our barbarian. No luck this time. But we do get some accessories. Yeah. A bunch of cursed. I mean, yeah, it's what happens. And we see here our combat time, 7.5 minutes. Not too shabby. It's pretty much kind of in line with what I've experienced for Ruthless campaigns up to this point. I mean, Wintermire obviously takes longer, but for the most part, it's about 8 minutes for all these different maps. Alright, that's all I have for this time. Thanks for watching, and happy farming.